All right. We are live, everybody.
Oh.
Whoa,
Hello.
it is
Whoa.
Xmas.
I'm not ready
We
to...
are live.
darn.
Merry Christmas.
Darn it, okay.
We just said it was going to be me and Adam, but we have a surprise guest.
Oh, yes.
It's the return
It's
of
a shitty surprise.
Michael Briskin. It's the shittiest surprise
guys
ever.
It's a
never
Christmas
listen to this
miracle.
again.
It is. Look,
It's a
that's the name of the... Oh, I got to hit save. Oops.
Yeah, I gotta like.
Mike Briskin returns from a Christmas miracle. Yeah, we'll tweet it out. You could retweet from your phone if you want there, Briscoe.
His triumphant return. We got him on video now. We got you on video now, Mike.
Yeah, we didn't have you on video last
I don't
time.
even have...
We're moving up in the world.
I
We
don't
have
even
video
have plausible deniability. Like, no, that wasn't me.
Not anymore.
I was not on this show.
Well, it could be a hologram. It wouldn't have to be a very big one. Oh!
hey, that hurt, man.
That stung.
Really?
All right. So what's going on, Briskin? What have you been up to?
I
Pimping the hose.
I want to hear something that we didn't have the chance to really talk about yet. Your weekend in Boston. You did a bunch of shows up there.
Oh, that was awesome.
Tell me more about that. I've never done Boston before, and it sounds like you had a lot of shows, and they seem pretty good.
Well, I happened to know the right guy. I had done a show with Gary Alexis at Slade, which is right by Northeastern, and I did it. And one of the guys on the show, his name is Ryan Donahue, one of the great human beings of the modern era, and he happened to be the right guy to know. Happened to be a really good guy. I had done well the night that we both performed together, and he happens to be either running or a part of a lot of shows in Boston, and he got me a show on a Friday, a show on a Saturday, a show on a Sunday. And it started because my brother was like, Mike, why don't you ever do shows in Boston? And because my brother goes to Northeastern. And I said, I don't know. Actually, I was a dick. I said, because it's a junior varsity city.
Junior varsity. That does sound like the perfect Mike Briskin answer. All right, keep talking. I'm going to adjust
And
the
appropriate
camera.
for Boston.
That's
because they hate that so much.
they do. They were funny. I opened. I knew there was a huge rivalry. Well, everyone does. So I opened one of the shows with "What's up, New York City," and I was like,
no.
"Oh, I'm sorry, I'm practicing for a real town."
So you said that?
Oh yeah, I said that.
How
They
did it
loved
go?
They loved it. It was in.
All right, Boston, you're not bad.
It was in Cambridge. I didn't do it in real Boston. Not fucking crazy.
You weren't in Southie when
Yeah,
you
you
did it.
You fucking jackass.
No,
fucking...
but for the record, Boston's one of the greatest cities ever. The reason I hadn't been to Boston was just because I didn't have any real connections there that I had thought of. And then when Kevin said, "Why don't you do anything here?" I said, "Oh, I know this guy," and I reached out to him, and he was awesome. And I was blown away by the talent. I really, it was one of those shows where you do your set, and then you become a part of the audience in any show when you're not on the stage. And I had such a great time. They were so, and that city is so, it's a great city.
That's awesome.
It really is.
Yeah, that is great.
So you're oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say, I did a show with Ryan Donahue at the Funny Bone. It was a Thursday night showcase show that Mike Schustock got me on. And, yeah, he's a great guy. It was also with Sean Carter. Did you meet him, too? He was also on that show. Really funny comic up in Boston.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was with both of them. And it was a fun show. They were killers. They were great. They both seemed like great guys, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
And it really was. Like, it was, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of shows that we've all been on where it just, for parts of it, you're like, oh, I feel bad. But all three shows were just killer after killer after killer.
Oh, wow.
Everyone did great. And, of course, I judge shows by how well I do. So, obviously, I'm very biased because I did well. But I really did have a great time. And the talent was phenomenal.
Wow.
Plus, I highly recommend.
So
and I would mention all the shows to plug them. But I forget the name of the first one. So but I'll tell you that I remember the Mendoza Line and Strange Behavior. And I highly recommend those. And the other one that I went to on Friday night, I recommend that one as well.
If you were there, you know who you are and you know where it was.
If you live in that area, go see it.
No, so the crowds were probably like young, hip, smart kind of
deal.
Yeah.
It was
That's such a it's such a breath of fresh air when you get to perform in front of that kind of a crowd, because there's crowds around here that I know specifically, like a lot of your stuff just goes over their head because they're just so stupid. How do you?
Yeah, Connecticut, smarten up, read a book.
I'm not saying. I'm saying at some shows, but how do you deal with that?
I don't think. Well, first off, I don't think that happens very often. I really think most crowds get it, and if it does, I just say either I just move on to the next joke, and pretend it didn't happen, which is how I handle most failures, or I say something like, "Oh, I can tell you guys really like that one by your respectful silence." Like I like that there's no reason to dwell on it.
That's hilarious.
It's a good way to look at it.
So when was this? I wasn't totally paying attention because I was setting up.
When was Boston?
Yeah.
A couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Didn't you go up there with Gary Alexis one time?
That was right. That was like a year and a half ago.
Oh wow, was that long ago?
Yeah, it was a long time.
Oh
ago.
wow.
And then that was at Slade, and I had a great night. And that's where I met Ryan. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So what would you do for the holidays?
For those who don't know, I have a Jewish father, and my mother is not Jewish. I don't know what she is technically, but she's of the Christmas tree variety.
Christmas. She's a Christmas tree.
So she's
Christmas tree enthusiast. Her dad's Catholic, her mom's Lutheran. I don't know. We didn't really go to church. We went to a Unitarian Universalist church, which means we don't know what we believe in, but we're nice. And that was
I wish I went to that church. I went to fucking Roman Catholic church.
Oh, jeez.
Shit was the worst.
That's intense, I believe.
Yeah, I grew up going to Catholic school, man. That is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
It's funny because you think that's what everybody thinks
I know,
and
right?
believes,
Yeah, and then
you go somewhere else. That wait, you don't think you're gonna die and go to hell and burn just for talking about it? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of guilt there.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Can't do anything.
So you went to that universal type church?
Yeah. Well, it was my mother's grandmother or aunt, some older relative, said, "God spends all the time on you. You can do an hour every Sunday." So that was, she felt like we should go. And then after a while, she was like, "Screw it." Like we went for a few years, but then the religion was like, "All right, don't hit anybody." That was our religion.
That's a good religion. But what about in self-defense?
Oh, that was fair game.
Or what if you're texting and driving? But
that was Dad's religion. Dad was like, "You don't start fights, you finish them." That was like a typical dad.
That's like the typical Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, really? That's
religion?
Not a normal thing for dads to say.
You
like, don't start fights, but if they happen, kill them. Like that's
a pretty badass thing to say.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
That was how I was raised. So so this year, so we normally do Hanukkah and Christmas. And I can recite the awful sounding Hebrew prayers if need be. But we didn't really have a Hanukkah. I just got a bag full of floss and deodorant and soap and shampoo. Basically, my parents were like, "You have a hygiene problem.
You're dirty." For Hanukkah, you gotta clean yourself.
Yeah, so that was nice of them because they knew they bought me things they knew I would use. So that was very nice of them. And then today we had a Christmas, and what did I get? I got things that as a kid you would be mad about, just like the floss and shit.
Yeah, but now you're like,
but now it's
sweet.
like, yes, warm socks.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like
socks.
so happy.
Thank you.
So yeah, it was a good. But honestly, it's good. And then we had latkes for Christmas dinner. We just don't know what the fuck we are at this house.
As long as you're getting together and having a
How do
good
you
time,
pronounce
right?
that again?
Latkes.
So you had latkes for Christmas.
Latkes, and they are the dopest.
What are they actually?
They're potato pancakes. It's basically like every culture
Did you bring
has a
any?
way to fry potatoes that'll kill you, but it's delicious.
Yes, exactly.
That's the Jewish version. So
Did you bring any with you?
I did not.
Oh, you're horrible.
We ate them. You can't leave latkes.
Oh, all right.
No latke goes uneaten.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I wasn't sure if you were going to say eaten, raped. I
I
don't
was
know.
thinking of a word that would be better than eaten, and I was like, I'm just cutting my losses.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I got.
Brian Barganier just sent me a message.
What did he say?
He said, "Your guys' dick jokes are real thinkers."
What?
Because before you were talking about people don't get your jokes, and he goes, "Yeah, your dick jokes are real thinkers."
I think Brian's obviously watching this.
Yes.
Yeah. He said, and then he said,
Ryan,
"Can't message the show." And then he was just kidding. You guys are funny.
I'm gonna come back I'm gonna have a real good comeback for you in like an hour when the show ends, and I'll text.
He's gonna
it
call up
to
his
you.
Jewish writers, aka his cousins, that are full Jewish.
They're sharks. You better fucking.
Yeah. So are we can't do the messages again because that was really.
No,
cool
we
last
can't.
time.
He just
Oh,
can't
okay.
chat with us because he has the same sign as I do because of the thing. I think, or he said
Oh.
because he's on mobile. That's what it is. He's
Oh,
mobile.
okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, people, if you're listening and you want to type shit in, by
Yeah,
all
it was
means.
funny last
Type
time.
that shit.
Last time we had a couple good ones. Somebody said this podcast is like AIDS or is AIDS. I was like, wow, that's so awesome. I wish my podcast was as popular as AIDS.
I wish it was that viral. That's the virus. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
Retiring from comedy.
I wish you were literally inside the veins of Magic Johnson. All right, that's enough. Okay.
All
Anyway.
right.
So you're at your house eating latkes? That's
Yeah.
cool.
So that was my Christmas.
Did you do anything yesterday?
Yesterday for Christmas Eve, we were all around each other. These are unusual
Yeah.
occurrences. These are odd
Isn't
circumstances.
it crazy? Yeah,
What
it
did we
is.
do? Oh, today we saw The Imitation Game, which I highly recommend.
What is that?
That's the Alan Turing one. He's the mathematician who basically developed computability theory.
Huh.
But the story's not about that. It kind of takes place after that when he's cracking the Nazi code and he's building the first computer, and then they find out he's gay and they give him hormones and he kills himself. That's the whole. I ruined
Whoa.
the movie for everyone.
Yikes.
Did you rent this or is this in the theater?
No, it was in theaters.
Oh, I've seen the preview for that. Now I know what movie that is. So that was good.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I don't know how accurate it was. I don't know if the way he acted was actually how Alan Turing acted. But it's a sad story.
Yeah, that
for
is
a comedy
really sad.
podcast, especially.
And then after that, his
Yeah,
mom
and
found
then did they
and
beat him?
She
Yeah.
cried. Then his
Keep
mom
going.
killed him. We're gonna if this sad podcast gets any sadder, we're gonna get reclassified in iTunes. They're like, you can't be under comedy anymore.
You guys are genre defining.
Yeah, you way are.
This is the real deal, right?
gotta be in the
here.
emo category.
ComedyLL.com/wah.
Wah. Sadness wah instead of comedy LOL. See if that's taken. Somebody get on that. It'll be our alter ego. You've tuned into the sadness wah.
Our guest again is
Today
Mike
we're gonna
Briskin.
Today we're gonna talk about dead dogs. My dog died in front of me. It was so sad. It's fucking the worst ever.
We should just make it about like really great people who like died, like Martin Luther King.
Like everybody ever
shot.
died. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And sadness, and then
You just did all these great people who the world didn't deserve to have. We killed them.
we killed him.
That's how it
We
works.
did.
We just off the best of us. That's how we roll.
Yeah, man. It's
That is
crazy.
how we roll.
Don't fuck with Earth.
Yeah. And then
Don't come in here trying to fix things.
I think though that maybe sometimes.
We don't take kindly to that.
Oh man, I was just about to get deep too. That's hilarious.
Don't get deep.
What was I gonna say?
Get
Oh, I
deep.
was
We'll
gonna
make
say.
fun of it.
That's good though. That's fine. Maybe that the people that we thought were good that died young, maybe they were gonna turn into fucking horrible people. So it's a good thing they died young.
Right, it could be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
could be
saying?
that we shoot them before they turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe when they're really good, they're like, "Oh, he's really good. We got to get rid of that because we don't want to see what's gonna happen when he's older and like racist. Like if Elvis lived, he's so racist. He'd be on TV like, well, you know, in Ferguson, I think they should have just been killing him for the hell of it. Like, whoa, Elvis, calm down. Whoa. You should just round them all up. Elvis, whoa, anybody. So, what was it like living at the mansion? I think that.
Oh, man.
Ooh. So yeah, maybe it's a good thing that Elvis died young.
Yeah. Okay.
The Ku Klux King.
yeah. Like who knows what would have
That
came
is hard
out.
to say right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This Ku Klux Klan is a clan with no kung fu moves. That is bullshit.
That is kind of bullshit.
Bullshit. If they,
I think you should call them.
I should be like, yo, I know you.
You
don't,
got him on speed
I
dial,
know
right?
I know you don't like Asians, but look.
There might be some Kung Fu Ku Klux Klan members. I said that all without stuttering. I thought for sure I was going to.
Pretty impressive.
I was like, before I said it, I was like looking over, like about to jump into a thing. I'm like, can I really? Usually shit just comes out without even me thinking about it, obviously.
No, that I don't. No,
That one was,
not yet.
yeah. So, yeah, that's crazy. What were we talking about?
We have managed to almost not talk about anything.
That's amazing that we could do that.
Mm.
We were talking about your upbringing
Oh, we're religiously.
religiously.
Well,
yeah.
you heard.
man.
The fact is, you heard all of it. You
Yeah.
heard all.
So
of
that-
I had such a weird upbringing because we were Roman Catholic, but like my mom was just too lazy to take us to church, so we just went to CCD. That was pretty much it, like Sunday school.
I used to hate the CCD kids because I went to Catholic school, and then CCD would come in on the weekends and fuck up all my shit. And they were always the shittiest kids,
Hell
so
yeah.
they'd fucking, carve
there was
shit in.
there were people.
part-time.
It was
man.
it was like a running joke with CCD kids that we would fuck up all your shit. My friend took like this
You
kid had a
motherfuckers.
desk. This
That's
kid
it.
had like a stack of Michael Jordan cards in his desk that he kept there. My friend just like looked at me like and started laughing and just put him in his pocket.
Oh, that kid! If you're listening now and you lost those Michael Jordan cards, it's okay. Michael Jordan's a douchebag who got his dad murdered, so it's fine. Anyway.
You gotta love how Catholic school kids behave, don't you?
Oh man.
Don't steal, you'll go to hell. Like, this is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it came to a head when somebody stole a Walkman. Somebody had a Walkman in a desk.
Not
and
the
that-
Walkman.
The big Walkman.
For
yeah.
people listening who don't know what a Walkman is, it's like an iPod. It's like a iPod, but only held like 6 songs. When you put this plastic disc that was bigger than, it was like putting an iPhone into a toaster, and then you got to listen to 6 songs, and you couldn't even skip. You had to listen to the whole thing or rewind it. It
Oh,
was-
that's what that. I thought we were talking about
Ooh.
something totally different.
What the? What did you
I was
think?
trying to explain what a Walkman was to people.
Fucking right. A
Oh,
Walkman?
okay. But yeah, no, it was funny because that was something that they told. Like they literally had to come in every year. All right, everybody, no stealing this year.
This year, no
And
stealing.
then there was
The
the one time, oh my god, this was hilarious. This kid taped a piece of paper because you know how you had a desk and you had the compartment you had the compartment and it was open on these desks.
Yep. We had those too.
It was just in the back of it. This kid taped paper and he wrote on the paper, "Don't steal from me." So my friend ripped it off and just stole a bunch of shit.
Stole everything. Oh
It was
man,
funny.
that is funny.
Well, I feel sorry for you guys though. Like you were on the opposite end of that.
Yeah, we were on the total opposite end, and it wasn't like we could fuck their shit up. You know what I mean? We could maybe
Exactly.
put razor blades in the desk. I got myself. That's what you get. That razor blade had AIDS, even though he wasn't invented yet. I'm old, sorry. It was just about being there. I remember getting the AIDS talk in school. Like, you could talk to people and you could chew erasers and it's fine, but I don't know. They were like, you just can't. Like, oh, you can't be gay. That's how you get AIDS. No, that's not what they said. Pretty much, that's how they said it, though. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, so you didn't have to go to CCD or CD, whatever that is. You didn't have to go to any Sunday school thing. I hated going. It was the worst. I mean, yeah, we had fun stealing shit, but you know.
That was only 10% of the time.
Yeah, no, I had a children's Bible. I remember a Bible that was translated from King James Version into child, and it was awesome. I thought it was a great book.
It was a really nice story.
It was there were cool parts. There was a lot of fighting in I don't remember any of it.
Oh, that's a good. Well, yeah. It's funny. It's like we don't think we could tell kids to behave without some kind of scary consequence that they
Yeah.
can't understand.
But it's
Instead of just saying, "Listen, if we're all cool, this world would be so much better."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really well behaved and with almost no religion. So
I don't know.
I think it's changing.
Yeah, I think so. But you think that, but then sometimes you run across some groups of people, and then you're like, oh shit,
they need Jesus.
There's nothing changing. Yeah, exactly. They need Jesus. I see what you did there, and I thought it was pretty funny. It was kind of funny what you did there. Yeah, I hope it's changing. I think though, because it's much different now. I think than it used to be. It's more accepted now if you don't believe in God. People are like, oh, okay. Yeah. Before it was like, wait, what? You're gonna go to hell? Now it's just like, yeah, you're probably right. Who knows? I guess unless you get around the wrong people.
I've always thought it was weird that it was the belief, the belief that determined whether.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
I don't buy that. I think if there was some sort of system like that, which I'm not going to speculate on it right now, but if there was the idea that it would be based on belief and not how much of a nice person or a dick you were, just does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
My new theory basically with religion is that there's probably people back in whenever we were coming along that figured out things and they put them together into the Bible. And I think what they were trying to say when they were telling people that you're gonna live forever or you're gonna die, like eternal life, I think what they meant was, and it got lost in the translation, they were saying that the human race could live forever if you do these things, if you be nice to each other, if you treat everyone how you want to be treated, if you follow the 10 Commandments. And then they say you will die, burn in hell, or whatever it is forever if you don't, which means if we went extinct, that's kind of what our species would experience. And I think it was just something like that got lost in translation. And people now, instead of taking the message to heart, they're worshiping the messenger. They're like, I love Jesus. But Jesus said, you know what you're doing? That's exactly what Jesus said not to do. But it doesn't matter because I love him. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it matters, if there was a Jesus or whoever he was. So they're worshiping the messenger, which I think is a huge, awesome human quality. We always do that.
Yeah.
We like rock stars.
Yeah, we do, We do. But I think especially a few generations later, the translation gets lost, and we're like, oh, we love this guy. Like Reagan is a perfect example. Everybody loves Ronald Reagan, but when he was president, everybody hated him, and they forget that. But you can go back to that. And the same thing with Kennedy. Everyone's like, oh, he was a great president. Everyone loved him. But back when he was president, it was very controversial. A lot of people were against him, but no one ever talks about that.
Yeah. They were against him because he was Catholic, too, which is so weird.
Well, can you blame him? The United States already does enough guilty things. We don't need any more guilt. Just kidding. We're perfect. We're a great country. We do everything right. But that's my take on religion.
Thing that's been said.
And if you think how distorted a couple generations are, just imagine a couple thousand years. It was probably, like I said, it was just people with a good idea. This is what you should do. And now we're like, no, we worship those people. No, that's not what you do. We kill each other over these people's ideas. No, they said not to do that. So, what do you think, Briskin?
Well, I think there could be a grain of truth to a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard me mention the CTMU, but it's
what is
got
that
some
again?
Good arguments. It's a cognitive theoretical model of the universe, and the guy's argument is that the universe is a language, and I read it when I was 17. And a lot of it went over my head. And I read the first half of it again, and then I switched jobs, and I had to do all this studying for the new job. And I haven't really been able to finish it because I suck. But it's got
Don't be so hard on yourself.
It's got some interesting points.
I learned that this week. I was so excited. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Don't be hard on yourself?
Yes. I was listening.
That this week?
Yeah, it was weird.
I just learned that right this second.
See, I'm teaching people. Even the cat learned. I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Rogan's podcast, and he had Anna Kasparian, I think.
Oh, was it the recent one?
Yeah, it was the recent one. She's the one from the Young Turks, and she was being kind of hard on herself. Then they were talking about it, and then as opposed to, like, she'll see other people doing things. She's like, oh, I wish I was doing that. And then Joe told her about, like, you do this, you do that, you're great, don't worry. And then later she was saying how if you see, especially as comics, and Joe was saying this, like, we'll see another comic doing things. Like, oh, this guy's doing this. and he's doing this, and he's, he's always hitting open mics, or he's always hustling, always in New York. Somebody that's like a step ahead of you, and you're like, fuck, I wish I was doing that. And you kind of get hard on yourself. They're like, listen, don't be so hard on yourself. You're where you are, and you're doing what you could do. It's a good thing you get motivated, but just relax. And I was like, oh, fuck, I could do that? And it just this wave of, like, I don't know, goodness came over me. I was like, oh, because I'll do that. I'll see a comedian that's doing things and it's hitting, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I need to be doing this, or I need to be doing this more. I mean, it's good motivation, like I said, but I get down on myself. So now it's just like, oh, shit, yeah, I don't have to. So, yeah, that's my rant. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That makes total sense.
Well, I have a new religion now.
I want to hear more about the what was the
cognitive theoretical.
Yeah,
model.
Yeah, explain
can you
that.
delve into that a little bit more? It sounds really interesting.
Well, I actually have a new bit where I incorporate it, and I don't know,
Spoiler alert.
Do we just do bits on this podcast?
no, don't you don't.
We
do the
don't?
bit.
All
Well, I
right.
mean,
It's up to you.
want
You can
to.
tell the story,
No,
whatever you want to do.
I can't. We won't do it. We'll save the bit itself. But so
By the way, I'm not so sure if you play any like sports bars if the audience is gonna understand.
They
In Connecticut.
they do.
Your dick jokes
They do.
about
No, the joke
Brian
is the joke
Bergman.
has worked every time. So
Oh, all right.
it's a
you've done
longer
it
joke.
already.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've done it
okay.
a few times.
Cool.
It's longer. It starts with the Canaanites.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It's,
Okay.
but okay. So basically the idea is that the universe is a language, and he has certain arguments for why the universe is intelligent, and it's a
Why the universe achieved intelligence, or why it is intelligent?
why it is intelligent.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. There's a couple things about it that are fairly compelling. So like he says that, you know how it's conventional wisdom that the universe is expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he said, and this is true according to relativity, that it's just as reasonable to say that everything in the universe is shrinking, because that's just as meaningful if there's no outward boundary, or if the universe only exists relative to itself. So that's kind of cool. Although he kind of took that from John Archibald Wheeler, who was a physicist, but he didn't mean it at the time. And this guy Chris Langan, who actually has arguably the highest IQ in America. That's not a be all end all, but he's pretty sharp. And he said that even if Wheeler was saying that jokingly, it's actually meaningful, because it is just as true, and I interpret that as the universe is becoming more informationally complex over time. It's entropy, and then he has a point that like the universe has to be capable of intelligent qualities because we exist in the universe and we're intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And in the joke plug, I say, well, that would be a great argument, except for the gaping hole. In that we're not very smart. Who wants to worship that, really?
Yeah.
But it's honestly it's a read that I can't recommend fully yet, because I haven't read the second half in years. Although I do intend to get back to it.
Awesome.
So
That's
Cool.
stuff like that is
So interesting.
yeah, it's really interesting. It's really crazy because it's stuff normal people don't think about on a day-to-day basis. But if you stop to think about, when there's people who say that the universe is infinite, and then it's fractal, and there's other parallel universes, and these are people who we consider the smartest people on the planet, and they're saying this stuff, but then we just go about our normal days, and then you stop and think about it, you're like, it's mind-blowing.
Right, on some level it's on some level you are still a primate who needs to feed itself.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta break it back down.
Yeah, you really do. But it is amazing when you think about all the bullshit that we're caught up in, the drama a lot of people are caught up in. But then you think about, we're just on this planet, and then what's up here? It's just nothing. It just keeps going, and it doesn't ever stop. It's crazy. I guess it doesn't really matter, though, because we can't see it or experience it. So we can only really affect what's in our range, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the word. I don't know. So happy birthday, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say I've thought a lot about that. What you guys were talking about last time we were all together doing this. The Plato's allegory of the cave. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just I feel like I apply that like just that idea to different things now.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it's such a good way to like put stuff into perspective.
Oh, yeah. It's very intense. Maybe we should explain what it is
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
for people who didn't listen to our last. You want to explain it?
Yeah, I honestly, Adam, I was surprised when you didn't know it because I feel like I feel like it's something you would know.
I didn't know it either.
You know what? Like I can honestly say I did not learn anything in high school, and college was I was really just I didn't know anything when I got to college, and then college like kind of taught me more like coursework. But anything like I've really researched or gone into, I've done it like all on my own.
Yeah, no, I've learned everything myself as well.
That's
Yeah.
the same with me. I mean, really. And I'm learning. And the more people I talk to, I learn things like this. Like, it's weird that I've never heard of that before. I've heard of it. I just wasn't fully knew
The
what it
allegory
was.
of the cave?
Yeah, I've heard people mention it and say it, and I thought I
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
then when
common.
somebody actually sat me down, well, they're like, "We have to explain this." No, they did, and I was like, "Oh, that's what that is." I'm like, "Wow, yeah."
It's so basically the moral of the story is that if everyone figured everything out, they would look crazy. And the point is, there's these prisoners, they're chained up, they're only looking at a wall. People are behind them. There's a light, and they're making figures. They're making shadows out of figures.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's like they see hand puppets on the
right,
wall
right, and
or shadow puppets.
exactly. And then if someone broke free and they got outside and they saw the world and they came back and they talked to the other prisoners would be like, "You are a fucking nut."
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. That's
Until
the
you
whole
can
story.
break enough people free to go see it, and then you hang out with those people
Yeah.
and do a podcast with them. Whoa, it just blew my mind. Whoa, just brought it full circle. Crazy.
That was good.
So that's the background. I don't know. So what have you thought about it lately, Adam? Now that it's been introduced into your life.
Just the idea of like how you really can't explain everything, or you can't explain things to people who have never even been in their ballpark, you know? Like I don't know, it's hard to articulate right now, but
I think I know what you're saying.
it's just a kind of a mind-blowing
Yeah.
idea.
It has a lot of meanings on a lot of different levels. Like, for example, with my life, I worked a real job for like the first real long time, until I was, I think, my early 30s. And I started DJing. And, well, for a while, I was unemployed for about a year, just working and stuff and making money that way. And then I started DJing, and then now that's what I do. So I basically work like 3 nights a week on a normal week, and then a lot of times I'll do weddings and parties and stuff. But so I get to live my whole life other than 3 nights a week, 4 hours a week, or 4 hours a day. Like I do comedy a lot, but that's something I choose to do. I don't have to survive. So for a while, that's all I did. And a lot of my friends who are still working real jobs, like, "Oh, what are you going to do in the future?" They'll hit me with questions like that, like, "Oh, does this have any future?" Or, "What are you going to do when you get older?" And I'm like, listen, I guess that's the same. That's the same question. I mean, that's the same statement. But
You're older in the future?
no. Well, yeah, like, what are you going to do in the future? What are you going to do when you get older? But
we weren't listening that critically yet.
yet he goes. So, and I try to explain to them, like, listen, no, it's about right now. Like, I'm having a fucking great time, and we could all be dead in 10 years. I'm not saying you shouldn't prepare a little bit for the
It's
future.
a bad argument.
But you shouldn't put all your stock in the future. You shouldn't work 80 hours a week saying I'll enjoy it when I retire, because fucker, you're like 20 or 30 now. When you
Yeah.
retire,
You
if
should
you retire,
absolutely- right.
you're going to be 60. So I try to
Absolutely
tell
have
them
fun
that.
now.
And I used to travel a lot more, or I'd be out at the beach and people would be like, "Oh," they'd be so mad. I'm like, you could do it too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you got to understand. And it's the same thing. It's like you run back into this cave and you're going, "Whoa, man, look outside. There's birds." And they're like, "You're fucking crazy. We got to look at the wall. If we don't look at the wall, we're not going to get a 401k. If we don't look at the wall, we're not going to have dental insurance if we don't look at the wall." It's like,
Exactly.
well, then, okay, you stay in here and I'll go back outside. And I just thought of that right now as you were explaining that. That's weird, but
cool.
I like it.
thanks, man.
Yeah, that is awesome. Plato's allegory of the cave.
Bringing it to you live.
But yeah, no,
Over
but talking
today.
about like just like not learning anything in high school, it was like, so You were wondering. You were surprised that I hadn't heard that yet, but it was like I feel like I wish I could have introduced myself to so many more things that I find out about on a daily basis randomly.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, I don't know though. I wanted to ask Brandon, like you were in your 20s, like in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like people getting smarter has a lot to do with like the internet and like the last 5 years? Like what were people like in the 90s? Like
things were a lot different. There was I graduated 8th grade in 1990, so I guess I was even in my teens and 20s in the 90s. But it was much different. You could go out when you went out with your friends. You were basically out. That was it. You weren't really, unless you had to call someone at their house, so you'd have to go find a payphone. So there was a lot less interruptions. I think people were kind of paying attention more to each other. They weren't, obviously there's no phones. You know, when you're out driving around, you're talking more. And I think we used to make each other laugh so hard. I was thinking about this the other day, how sometimes my friends and I would get together, and it's like us when we get together or on these podcasts. Maybe this podcast is kind of like that because we're not really on our phones. You know what I mean? We're just sitting here concentrating on now. But that's what it's like. So we would laugh so hard. I mean, we would laugh to the point where we were crying. And I miss that. I haven't really done that in such a long time. So there was, you know, like with people, it's just like.
I guess we're not doing that for you right now.
I was gonna say all this dude does is hang out with comics.
Yeah, but it is like that. But I feel like it's broken. I don't know. You guys suck. You're not as funny.
You said it and you meant it. You can't take it back.
I did, and I won't take it back. But I feel like, but no, even now when you're hanging out with comics, people are on their phone, Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that. You know, then it was just, and I think you were thinking more. So say I said something and you think it's silly, but then you go on your phone and it's kind of, but you were actually thinking because there's nothing else going on, maybe the radio. So people would think deeper, I guess, and get more into it. So I think people are a lot more connected physically, but now people are more connected, I guess, mentally, more of like a internet presence connection.
We're in the cloud.
Yeah.
There's more information like at our fingertips.
And that's another thing. The information, you know, before people would say something and you could never really call them on their bullshit. You'd have to go look in an encyclopedia. So it was like, you're like, well, do I believe this kid or do I not? And then, you know, some people would have these insane stories and you didn't know. You know, so there was always that. And the information wasn't there. I think people were easier to fool. I was actually talking to someone recently about marijuana being legal, and I'm like, listen, one of the reasons it's becoming legal is because our parents used to say to us, don't do pot. Or cops would come into school, don't do pot, it's bad. It's going to cause brain damage, or it's going to, you know, whatever, going to kill your brain cells. We're like, okay, but now you say that to a kid, it's going to cause, you know, kill brain cells. All right, marijuana. Oh, it doesn't. See, Mom, it doesn't kill brain cells. Oh, but it's going to lead to this. Oh, no, studies show that it doesn't. You know, you can't argue with Google, I guess.
You can try.
You could.
But you'd be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Google, we didn't mean that. We're on Chrome right now. We're just kidding. We're not gonna.
Google, I meant it. I would.
Murph, where you at? Murph, help us out. James
Murphy.
Murphy.
Argue with you
with his Google. He's had a lot of.
Love you, Google.
Yeah, that's another scary thing though. If they ever, I guess it'd be easier to fool people on that level if you're nefarious with the internet. You put out a lot of fake information, and I don't know. I think it's too big. I really think it's.
Well,
past the point. Do you think? How about this? Do you think the genie is totally out of the bottle with the internet, or do you think there's any way they could reel it back?
You have to elaborate.
Okay. Before the internet, you had to watch the news, and they could say whatever the fuck they wanted, you know.
Right.
But now you could find alternative sources. You could put on Twitter, and you could see someone who's actually there and see what they're saying and taking pictures of. Okay, so if that goes away, if the internet somehow they figured out to throttle it back, or if they get this net neutrality shit passed, do you know anything about that?
I actually don't. I really don't, and I feel like that's for me.
You know what? That's okay because
I usually stay pretty informed, but I know nothing about.
Okay,
this.
I think it's good we're explaining this then because other people need to know.
I would like to hear it.
And especially you because you're very strong in your convictions, which is a good quality. Basically, to break it down very easily, what they're trying to do is they're going to make it so you have to pay for your bandwidth as a website. So
who's they?
That's whoever the government, whoever wants to propose net neutrality. So what they want to do, it's
like the cable companies.
Cable companies are really behind it.
Is it the providers or the government? And is it being made to happen?
This is something you're gonna have to look into, but I could just explain what it is, okay? Because
okay.
I don't know exactly, But I know that there's going to be people who benefit from it. Obviously, government and obviously cable providers will benefit. Because what they're trying to do is, for example, you have Netflix, and you can watch Netflix. You don't have to have cable anymore, really. So what the cable companies are trying to do is make Netflix pay a lot more for their bandwidth, or anybody. So say if you want to start a website, you'd have to pay a lot more. Or if someone goes to your website, it's going to be dog shit. It's going to be slow.
Yeah.
And it's going to really suck. And then, you know, Fox News or Jiffy, Peanut Butter, whoever can afford it is going to have better commercials or better, or you know, Walmart.com. You can go there and find something and buy it, but then you go to mom and pop one, it's going to be very slow.
Yeah.
That's what they're proposing.
Can you, so if you can imagine the internet where like any huge company has a regular running like fast website, and then your own site, Mike Briskin Comedy, takes 10 minutes to load the first page. Okay. That would be like kind of the world that they want, that they hope to achieve to be in.
Well, to me, it's very different if it's the providers or if it's the government, because obviously, I mean,
well, there's certain legislators that are behind it, so it's not the whole government, but they're obviously probably getting paid a lot of money by the cable
lobbyists.
companies.
It's the guys who have the cable companies that are funding their campaigns that are behind passing this law.
It's very hard for me to speculate without knowing all the details. So, for example, if it's a cable company situation where only a few companies get approved by the government, so there's no competition, it's a sticky situation up front. If it's one of those things where it costs money to actually support the internet, and these companies want to pass it on to the consumers because bandwidth is scarce, and I don't know what bandwidth means. I just used that word because it sounded like it fit. I mean, it's ultimately economics is the study of scarcity. So it may cost money, and if that's what it is, that's what it is. I really would have to look into it to see if it makes sense.
So say it wasn't about costing more money. They were just trying to do it to make more money, basically. So they want to slow the Netflixes of the world down so more people have to buy cable. Something like that, you know.
Again, it depends on whether there's a real market mechanism going on.
Okay, I'll give you a better analogy. Say there was a dirty nuclear bomb went off in like fucking Maryland or something, and they blamed it on like Anonymous or some hackers. And like, listen, we gotta lock this internet shit down for now to keep you guys safe, just like they said to keep you safe with the Patriot. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
Okay,
that's bullshit.
I understand that's bullshit. Okay. But do you think they're at a point where they could still do that, or do you think the genie's out of the bottle? To go back to the original question, that's what I'm saying.
That is okay. So you're saying, can the government shut off the internet? And the answer is, it looks like they can do it in China. I don't think you can get Facebook in China. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they would get away with it in this country. I hope that they wouldn't. But I honestly don't know. It's all. I mean, the public sector has been getting bigger every year, every fucking year in this country. So it's hard to tell where government is limited anymore. So I don't know if they could do it or if they couldn't. I hope they never do. But I don't know.
The thing that I wonder if that does happen, I would love to see the fucking, because you see. Anything that happens politically or in the world that they try to focus people's attention on, you have a right-wing side and a left-wing side. So I would love to see who came out on what side of that. Like, depending, I guess, who is the president, there'd be people going like, oh, we need to keep our freedom. We got to shut off the internet. It's okay. Woohoo. And then there'd other people like, no, we got to save babies, so we can't do that. Like.
It's, left and right doesn't even, they don't even.
I know, yeah, but I'm interested to see who would be on what side.
It's totally ridiculous.
Because I watch these things.
There's no real difference between the left and the right.
So we just got a thing. It looks like some definition. The principle that internet service providers should enable access to all content and applications regardless of the source, and without favoring or blocking particular products or websites.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, just from that, first, NPana897, thank you for sending that in. And the principle, it sounds like when we say the principle that internet service providers should enable access to all content, it sounds like we're going to try to force it via an ISP thing, not a government thing. Internet service provider thing. All right, so, but by should, what do you mean?
Oh, I think they're saying it. I think she's saying, I actually know this girl.
Oh, you know
Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Big shout out. Yeah.
What's up, Nicole?
Nicole is I understand it's an internet service provider thing. Is it
There's a little bit of a lag too, just so you know. So
but
if you ask
there's
her a question, she's not going to be able. We're going to be like a few minutes ahead.
Should I just Google it myself?
What it is?
Yeah.
No, I think she's trying to tell us that it's a internet service provider, not a government thing.
Well, is there a law being contemplated?
Yeah, there's a law.
That's my question.
Yeah,
and is the law trying to make it so the internet service providers enable access to all contents regardless of the source?
Well, there's a law trying to say there's a law
But
trying to let them regulate it themselves. You know.
Well, you can decide who goes into your business, right?
I don't know. I mean, well, that's the thing. It's a form of communication.
It's very hard if we. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say this real quick. The two laws, they're called SOPA and PIPA. Have you ever heard those terms before?
I have heard of SOPA.
It's SOPA and PIPA are like the actual laws they're trying to pass. SOPA is Stop Online Piracy Act, and basically what it is, it's a bill designed for them to crack down on counterfeit websites. But what the devil's in the details, and the way that these bills are written, you know, they're trying to pass them as the Stop Online Piracy Act, but what's written in the fine print is like stuff that like gives the ISPs more power and basically the common consumer less power.
And they're going to be able to do more chemtrails legally.
All right, well,
sorry. That's what I do. I derail things. They call me the derailer.
I've just heard that in passing. What's that? The idea that they're putting
The
stuff
chemtrails,
in the atmosphere?
yeah.
Okay. Not speculating on that one. But okay, the Stop Online Piracy Act. As soon as someone wants to pass an act in anything, I'm just like, oh fuck. That's immediately what I say, because usually it's wildly expensive. The online piracy thing is interesting because I don't really believe in things like copyrights or patents. I think that they tend to stifle innovation. And in terms of like things that are pirated heavily, they tend to adapt. So like if you look at the porn industry, they were just getting like people were pirating like crazy, and the reason they were doing it is because if the porn industry ever went to some politician and said, help, people are stealing our shit, the politician would be like, if I help you, I lose my career. Maybe write a song and we'll talk.
So it's like robbing drug dealers. It's like robbing a drug dealer, basically.
But it was a legal industry.
Yeah.
And people were quote unquote stealing the shit out of it. And what they ended up doing is there's like one major company in porn, and they had all this, and they made a bunch of websites. Pornhub's one of them, but there's basically any website you go to that has free porn has ads on the side of it, and they figured out that if they just ran ads on the side and those pop-ups, that they could make their money. So they adapted. So I think even if you didn't allow for like copyrights when you made movies, and people pirated it like crazy, then in movies, they go out of their way not to product place. I noticed. They like, if you're drinking cola in movies, if no one paid them to do it, a lot of times it's generic. Well, they would just open it up. Yeah. They would all of a sudden,
I think that's starting to happen more, though.
Drinking Coke in movies. I just don't think it would go away. I think people would adapt. I don't think so. The Stop Online Piracy Act, I know nothing about it. I'm talking out of my asshole as usual, but it sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I don't know if Nicole hasn't added anything. So either the lag, it's the lag. Actually, I was gonna say she must agree with me. No, it's the lag.
She completely disagreed and turned off the podcast.
She's just done. Okay.
Oh man, that's great.
No, I think what you're saying is correct. I think that's basically what net neutrality is. It's SOPA and PIPA, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't like the idea of the internet changing at all right now, because it's so cool as it is. But I mean, we'll see what happens down the road. It could change. Maybe whatever they end up doing down the road is going to be some kind of a happy medium between what internet users want.
I feel like it's the wild west right now of the internet, with the crazy things that are going on. Yeah. Like look at Kim.com. He was the one who was what the heck was it? File share? No, he had a website. I forget the name.
Mega Upload.
Mega Upload.
Yeah.
And they raided his house with helicopters. Yeah, in New Zealand. He lived in New Zealand, and he had Mega Upload. He was like He wasn't file. He had a file sharing website, so he wasn't actually distributing the content.
Yeah.
But they wanted to shut him down, so they raided his house, took all his computers and servers and stuff with machine guns. You know, it's like what? That's
yeah. He
that's
was
a
basically
civil action.
he was
you know, like
he was basically running Mega Upload as an ISP. Like so he was the provider. He wasn't the person uploading any of the content.
yeah.
And he argued that Verizon and Comcast, if you ask them what like the amount of like their downloads going on at a certain time is pirated, it's like it was like 30%, which was the same as his was. So
Oh yeah.
so basically he's trying to say like because he doesn't have like the the government connections that those corporations have.
yeah.
Obvious.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he is.
I heard he
they
won
shut
too.
him
They had to
down.
give him a bunch of his stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
you know
hope so.
sued him, and they had to give him all his servers back and stuff. Like, oh,
He's also, I think Vice did a thing on him. He's also like one of the #1 like Call of Duty players in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Or he was at one point like the highest ranking Call of Duty player ever.
Can you just imagine he's sitting there and then like they come into real machine guns? He's like with the remote, like oh. Good thing it didn't happen in New York. He would have been shot. Oh, man.
I mean, we could talk about what just happened with the Sony leak in the interview. I mean, I feel like that has a lot to do with.
Yeah.
You know,
that was.
you said before, like, did you guys know that the internet in North Korea was shut down the other night?
I heard about that.
Creepy. I mean, we can all agree
but
that that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that
They
is creepy.
had internet in North Korea.
More surprised.
Lewis Black
There
was like,
was-
they don't even have videos with
there-
color. What
Not
the
even
fuck?
surprised about them shutting
There was-
down. More surprised about
Internet
them.
in
Yeah,
North
I read
Korea. It's only people who were pissed off about that was the fucking Kim Jong Un.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm the only guy with internet.
Yeah,
This
There
sucks.
was there
was
was
the joke,
1,000. I think I read somewhere 1,092 internet terminals in the whole country.
How many?
1,092 or 1,000.
There's more
less
on the-
than
there's more
less
on the
than
street.
1,100. Less than 1,100
Everybody
computers.
else is like, how does this affect the
Yeah,
rice that
exactly.
I'm not getting enough of?
Exactly. All the people are starving. We're still starving. All right, cool. We just can't watch you through the window, watch porn and starve. We just got to starve without that.
But that's literally just his generals. Like that's
Yeah.
Play
like Kim
Candy
Jong Un.
Crush. This is bullshit.
But what do you guys think about the Sony hack that happened and the way the reaction of it?
Can we just point out that this this was the greatest accidental marketing thing they
Exactly.
could have ever done. It looks like it was too big to actually be intentional. I mean,
But they would
as much fun as it is to speculate on the idea that maybe it was. But holy shit!
I think there's
how,
That would
how
be-
much better
that
off is this
would be-
movie?
yeah,
how
that
much
would
better
be.
off is this movie because that happened?
Well, I think that they're if they were gonna stage it, they'd have to become real with themselves and say, listen, if we're gonna stage this, we need to make this so ridiculous and huge that no one's ever gonna believe it. So I think it is possible that they staged it.
So you're saying that
you know what?
Sony leaked everything
Oh,
themselves?
I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying it's possible that. They
Oh,
did.
okay.
It's.
Yeah.
I think some of the emails.
And I really don't
were
think North
very
Korea-
sensitive to leak.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm
I-
saying.
I
They would.
don't, right.
There's
If
some
you
people
go
that
hard or go
they
home.
only
I hear
care
you.
about
I
money.
hear you.
They
I
only care
am-
about money. And
It's-
they
I
say,
think-
listen,
I think, but
listen.
would they
how much
incite
more? How much more do you really
9/11?
think they're gonna make to stand to make the?
I don't know. But what if somebody came into an executive's office and said, "Listen, I got an idea about a movie. No, yeah, not just a movie. I got an idea for everybody in the English-speaking world to hear about your movie.
Yeah.
What's it going to be? Well, we're going to put out a movie about North Korea, and then we're going to pretend that they hacked all our shit, released all this sensitive stuff." I could see this in a pitching room.
I feel like
and I could see
could
a guy
be a
going,
South Park episode.
"Yeah, it really could be."
Like that could definitely be a South Park
Yeah.
episode.
Oh man, I just thought about that now. I really don't. I don't really watch the news that much. I heard a little bit about it. I don't believe that North Korea really has that ability, super hackers to hack into all their stuff.
They could hire people.
Yeah, people are
I
saying it
guess-
was China. Like China actually.
No, I
might
don't.
have been
I
working for
don't
them.
think China and North Korea are buddies. Are they? I don't know.
It could have been anybody.
I feel like they have no friends.
It could. Yeah.
Well,
really-
if you, the only way to fly into North Korea is through China, so they have to keep up a little bit of a open relationship.
And they
Well,
were
I think
boys
it's
with them
clear
before.
That North Korea hired some people.
They
And
backed
there's
them up.
people, There's people who could probably do it if you paid them enough money. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I
Maybe
think
just
that
a third
honestly,
party did it.
It may have been North Korea. I think that they would get that butt hurt over it. And,
They definitely would.
it is what it is.
But I heard that they were getting mad and they were threatening military actions because we were accusing them of the leak and of the hack.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be actually
Google that to
very
make sure that I'm not
interesting.
just.
Do you remember like where you heard it?
No, I mean it was the internet. Must have been true. And I think it was like I went to check my my email. And it's on Google, and the news pops up sometimes. I'm like, ugh. But then I had to read that part. I'm like, oh really? Yeah. So I think they were denying that they did it. So if they were to deny that vehemently,
I feel like they would deny it either way.
yeah, I know, but I don't know. If
Hold
they
on,
weren't
there-
denying it, then I would. Well,
There are some articles. This is from the dailymail.uk.
I'm sorry. Anyone who has a country where they view the populace as slaves, I just don't. I mean, if you run an economy,
Oh, I'm
you
not
tell people what
sticking
they
up
have
for
to do
them.
for work.
Yeah.
I just don't believe anything good about you.
No.
I
This-
assume the worst. I think you're awful people.
if you
That's-
really want to
this
do
is
them,
like
you got to trick them. Listen, if you really want to rule a country, you have to trick them into thinking that paper is worth more than anything else, and they will work like 80 hours a week for all this paper so they could drive a Lexus. It's fucking great.
This, I just want to read this. This is the funniest like news headline ever.
Okay.
North Korea was not behind the Sony hack, according to multiple security experts who discredit FBA findings and revealed that a studio insider named Lena was responsible. What?
Lena. See, there you go.
Yeah, it might.
They
She's-
got a first name.
It was Lena from accounting.
Lena, that bitch.
Listen, I got a message for all the Hollywood producers. If you're a Hollywood producer, okay, and you have sex with a girl and tell her you're going to put her in a movie, put her in a movie. Because if not, this is what happens. Lena, I'll put you in a movie, Lena. Oh, yeah? All right.
So it looks like.
She was supposed to be Annie. Lena was supposed to be Annie. And this is what happened.
Oh man.
Woman named Lena. Yeah, it was a fucking first name.
It just says woman named Lena may be responsible.
Maybe.
Almost
News at
every
11.
expert stated that they believe the hack had to have been an inside job. What,
Yeah.
What website is that?
That's the Dailymail.
I don't know.
.co.uk. It's a UK,
I don't know this was.
which
They're
is
pretty-
usually the best to
Yeah.
like look at your news from because they're kind of the most even, middle of the road. Like they're they don't
Yeah.
really they're unaffected by what happens in this country really.
Let's see. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if it was a scam, it was the most brilliant scam ever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking assholes.
Right.
But I mean, how are you actually gonna say
And
threaten
then,
another
okay.
9/11
And then
attack?
if anybody.
Like some grimy shit.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I don't know.
Well, that's what North Korea
I
said,
really-
though.
I really
They
don't
threatened
know.
after
yeah,
that. North
I
Korea.
feel like North Korea would say that.
Wait,
Yeah.
whoa. If it was North Korea doing the threatening, then they were the hack.
No, they
No?
threatened. They threatened that they were going to do it either if they showed the movie or either if we were making up. That
No, they
again
said
about
they
them.
basically said like we leaked all this and we have demands and our demands are that if you guys continue to
Oh, they did say that.
yeah,
Oh,
they
alright,
basically said if it was going to be like a 9/11 attack. And then what happened was it was the movie theaters that started pulling the movie saying, well, we were threatened by an anonymous source
Mhm.
and, if we play our movie here, there could be an attack, so we're not going to play it. So when the
Oh.
theaters all started pulling out like Regal and AMC and stuff, Sony decided to just not release it at all.
Can you imagine what a great world this would be if
Ostensibly.
everybody who would go see
Huh?
Just kidding.
if think about all the people who would go see a Seth Rogen and James Franco movie on the first night. If they were all killed, how better this world would be. I'm just kidding. I love those guys. I love them. No, they make some funny movies.
I did tweet. This was when it first came out that they weren't going to show the movie. I was like, this is karma for that roast of Franco where nobody roasted him.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone
right?
was like, "You're a really great guy." Honestly, I don't know what to say.
We don't know what to say.
That
It
was a
very
weird
nice. It was
roast.
nice to see a nice roast. I'm not
Yeah.
usually a huge fan of roast, but I watched it and I don't know why I watched it. But
Yeah, that was.
it was
such a
right. Nobody
tame
was mean
roast,
to
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Everybody
right,
was
right.
like,
Well, it was all his friends.
"Please
that
be
were
my
doing it,
friend."
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're the most like famous and rich
He
of all
was-
your
he was
friends,
the-
everyone's like, oh.
Well, he was like the cool guy, and then all these comics are just comics.
There was only.
Somebody
I mean,
did trash him though, didn't they?
Amy Schumer was on it.
They were
She did
very-
a good job. She
No, they were all
always does.
very fucking nice to him. They were all very nice.
I got to rewatch it again because I'm pretty sure there was somebody who really stuck it to him, but I
I
don't.
don't think so.
One of the guys.
And
I
then
don't
he
remember.
got up at the end and he was like, "This is my art. I tricked all of you." I was like, "Oh God, dude." That's because he doesn't know how to do comebacks.
Oh yeah.
You have a non-comic, but I guess a lot of them are non-comics.
True. All right. Well, we got 1 minute left in this joint.
We really do.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Time flies.
When you're
Yeah.
having a podcast.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. When you're having fun.
Any plugs coming up,
Yeah.
Mike?
Any plugs?
Do you want to plug anything? Any shows coming up?
You guys should
He was like,
stalk
any
me
plugs?
on social media like there's no tomorrow.
Got any
That's
shows
what I
coming
think.
up?
Yeah, I'm doing the Brouhaha at City Steam on January 2nd.
That's in Hartford.
That's in Hartford.
Awesome.
That's a great club.
That's what, Friday night, January 2nd?
Yeah, Friday night. I think
Next
I'm
Friday
doing the night after as well, the Saturday. I think it's back-to-back nights. So if you miss
Is
Friday,
it 2 shows each night or?
no, it's one show each night.
Okay, cool.
And you're hosting, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
I highly recommend, and they always. I actually don't know who's on this, but they always have nationally touring comics, so it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a great
All right.
club.
Anything else that you want to talk about?
What's your handle?
Yeah,
by
he's
the
got
way,
a
your
new Twitter handle,
I just
everybody.
got a Twitter. I'm brand new to Twitter. It's Mike Briskin.
That's so easy. How do you spell that?
Mike Briskin. B as in boy, R-I-S as in Sam, K as in Kevin, I-N as in Nicholas.
All right.
All right.
It's brand new Twitter.
Sounds good. All right, everybody.
Cool.
Thanks for listening, and enjoy your holiday. I hope you had fun.
That's right. Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah.